same things. Is this where I'm at?
Okay, so that's what I think. So when you go to
But a billion is person. Okay. Let it be noted, we're not waiting for Michelle. Do you hear me? Let it be noted, we're not waiting for me.
Yes, let it be noted.
Let it be noted.
Let it be written in the record that Michelle is not
the last one we're waiting for. One meeting in a row. After that,
yeah. Okay, where's James? He's got one.
oh, this is the municipal building. Does it matter? Number one, that's right. Hammer. So you say, yes, you're number one. Just
All right. We are going to call our, what's the date? It's October 17th, 2019 City Council meeting to order. And I will give our opening. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful this day to gather together and to talk about our community and come together and solve problems. Please bless us in this meeting that we will have the spirit of cooperation and understanding, and please bless those who are not with us tonight and help us that we will come away with a greater sense of purpose. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. This is going to be a pleasantly short meeting because we only have one full item on the agenda. Recognitions and presentations. I have a proclamation. Is Colton Riddle here yet? Okay, I'm going to just read it anyway. Colton Riddle is a student at Weber State and needed to do something for a class and prepared this proclamation. Whereas this is a proclamation declaring November 4th through the 8th, 2019 as Citizen Engagement Week. Whereas the United States of America was founded upon the rights of the people established upon the merits of democracy, and whereas citizens are compelled to be informed and involved within local and national government, and whereas Kaysville consistently has 50% or less of registered voters to cast ballots in municipal elections, and whereas the month of November is established to be the month for municipal and federal voting, now therefore be it resolved that I, Katie Witt, Mayor of Kaysville City, Utah, along with the Kaysville City Council, do hereby proclaim November 4th through the 8th, 2019 as Citizen Engagement Week, and invite all residents to vote in the municipal elections by mail or in person. So, thank you. Thank you, Colton, wherever you are. And we'll give that to him later. Okay. I don't think we have any conflicts of interest, no. And now we'll go to a call to the public. Thank you. All right. Paul.
Sorry, I don't hear so well. I wear hearing aids the last few years and they don't do so well. The city sent the city council election form. There's no contact information on it, no phone numbers. There's one email address out of 8 candidates. This Proposition 5 form has all kinds of people listed on the back, no phone numbers. I wanted to call some of them and ask them about the issue. I specifically wanted to say that this is not a spot zone, which is all the arguments against. They use the term spot zone 3 times. It's not a spot zone. It's an expansion of an existing zone that is contiguous. Spot zone is a euphemism that people use to scare people, and it's false information in this case. So I went down to the city and I asked them, and they said, we'll pull up that link. So I went back to my home and pulled it up, same exact information. If you're going to send information to city residents of this serious a nature, it should include contact information so they can call the people and talk to them and ask them what's going on and become educated. Now about Kaysville Fiber. I'm an existing CenturyLink fiber customer. I've asked them several times what they're going to do for existing people. Nothing has ever come out that they're going to do thing one. So if I wanted Kaysville Fiber, I'd have to pay CenturyLink and Kaysville City a fiber fee at the same time. That's double billing. There's nothing in there that indicates that they can guarantee a rate for a certain number of time. It's like your water or electricity. The rate can go up tomorrow. The opt-out form has some bad wording. I understand that's been changed. I changed mine to say I may disclose to any buyer of my home that I have fiber optics through CenturyLink. And then I said that the new owner will be responsible to figure out what's going on in Kaysville City. The biggest question I have is how will the votes be counted? If you have 8,000 houses and 4,000 of them vote and 2,000 vote against, or 2,200 vote against and 1,800 vote to opt in, do you say, okay, then the opt-out was greater than those who voted what they wanted? Or do you say all of those that didn't bother to vote gave us their tacit approval, so we're counting them as a yes? I don't know which way you're going to count that. It seems to me like if this is really such a great idea, people ought to sign up for it, companies ought to be lining up to provide it. It shouldn't be, we're going to do this and you have to opt out. It's just backwards. It's not good government. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And I did forget to mention, for anybody who hasn't been to a city council meeting before, we are actually not allowed to answer you when you're speaking. So that's why no answers, but we'll get to you. Brian Perry. Nothing? Okay. David Saunders.
I sent an email to the City Council a couple of weeks ago requesting some clarification about the opt-out and potential opt-back-in policy. I was talking with Councilman Garn just before this meeting and talking about some of the timing that might be involved in there. And one of the key issues was the timing of bonding. The idea that I have is that, so just for the record, I do support fiber. I like the idea of fiber, but I haven't been terribly happy with the way it's been progressing. So I would like the option to opt out for the time being, but if the city is going, if there's sufficient interest by the community to do this and the city goes ahead and does it, I would like to be able to rescind my opt-out before anything else occurs and jump on the same bandwagon and support the city in the decision that they've made. Help reduce the risk and be a part, but I want to be able to have the option, because I don't get to vote in an election on it. I would like to be able to vote with my opt-out, and I want to be able to then rescind that in the case. Now, in the opt-out form, it does say that we can join back in, but it doesn't really say how or when or anything about that. It says you'll have to pay the 1,000 or 5,000, but it doesn't say, oh, it's going to have to be a lump sum. And again, the question being is, if it's done before bonding occurs or before any other real decisions can be made, I mean, give you just enough time to count the votes and see yes or no, can I have the ability to opt back in at that point? I understand you guys aren't going to respond right now, but I would like to have an answer before obviously it has to be before October 31st. And since I don't know of any better way to get this in front of you, it's to do it right here, right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Jacob Willoughby.
Hello, happy to be back here again. I just like everybody to know I'm going as deep as any citizen can go on the fiber project on Kaysville Fiber. I've read all, I don't know how many pages it was of the Light Hub agreement, and I have been pleasantly surprised, not surprised, but I've been very pleased to find that it is a very well-written document. It seems very sensible for the city to pursue Light Hub. And it seems like it will give us great cost savings and efficiencies in terms of purchasing and rolling forward with fiber. It also gives us the option to choose not to do so if the city chooses not to do so. My concern and why I'm coming here today is I found a lot of misinformation about Light Hub online, blatant lies by people about the document as well that I've had to combat by quoting it directly in order to communicate that to them. So I hope that there's a way or something that we can think of to help combat these people that are misinterpreting the document and the intentions of everything completely. So I'm doing everything that I can. I've been going door to door to all of my neighbors to make sure that they've seen the survey and that I've been pleasantly, once again, everybody that I've found and talked to as I go door to door has been completely reasonable and in favor of the project and grateful for the opt-out. A lot of people are grateful that they have that opt-out option as well for if they're doing that as well. So I'm pleased with the project so far. I understand why some people might have some hesitations about the way that it's rolled out. As I've dug deep into it, though, I can understand the council's decision to go ahead and go with the model that it has based on the parameters of the project. I've also been diving deep into the future of the telecommunications industry. My background is I have a master's in electrical and computer engineering. And so there's been also a lot of information out there about 5G and the other things that are coming to the city. And of course, all of those are promising by the companies that are rolling them out that they're going to be the best thing ever in 7 years when they come. I don't know when they're going to come. But I've been also once again pleased that the council has done their homework. The Technical Advisory Committee has advised the council wisely, and that I have now full confidence in our representative democracy that you will make the correct choice when the time comes for our city. So thank you for all of your work. Thank you for putting up with and talking to everybody and listening to everybody, whether or not they agree with what you're going forward with. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Briggs Lewis.
I guess I'm a little bit surprised at what appears to be a lot of misinformation on the fiber world that we've had. A friend of mine contacted Ammon, Idaho, and asked the person who was in charge of it, how many people are actually on their net, have joined their fiber? They said less than 20%. Those are not the numbers that I heard earlier. But I'm just a tad bit concerned that we're hurrying into something that I don't think we got a clue to. We had one individual try to tell me that if we get the fiber, it will save me $1,200 on my water bill. That doesn't even make sense how that would happen. But it was one of the people on the committee who was dealing with things. So fiber, it's okay. Do I need fiber? Not really. Do I have an equivalent that, no, it's not as fast as fiber, but I'm not watching real-time television. I don't need it. I've got several people who are heavy users of the internet, and ours is fast enough, and we've never had a problem with it. And ours is through the air. It's not underground. And so we do well. But I wish that people would slow down. Let's think what we're doing, because what's coming down the road in just a couple of years may put all of this behind us. I even heard the rumor that the Salt Lake Airport wasn't going to put any fiber in the new structures, the construction that's going in, because it was not sufficiently reliable. So I just have a lot of questions, and I still don't have any answers. And the more I hear, the more confused I become. And nobody seems to have an answer to say, well, this or this, and this is here. It's just too much unknown to look at it this time and then stick us, the citizens, for all the bucks that are going to come down the road on us. Somebody asked one of the head of the American Fork people, what are you going to do in a couple of years if they find out that it's not delivering what you said? He said, I'll move. I hope we don't have to go to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Council member reports. Councilmember Barber.
We have our Veterans Day program coming up, I think, well, right after our next council meeting, November 9th. Our youth city council is actually putting it on, so it'll be a fantastic event. Hope everyone can come to that. And Parks and Rec, I think we're just still rec programs. And we have fiber information sessions the next 2 Monday nights at 7 o'clock at the fire station if you want to come get some more information. And there's also more information added to our Connect Kaysville website answering a lot of these questions. And I'll be available after the meeting. So thank you.
All right. And Public Works.
It's all right if I divert a little bit from Public Works. I will say one thing about Public Works that
Start off with that.
very nice, all the progress that has been made recently. I finally did get, my wife goes all the time, but I've been busy. But I got on my bike and went down and investigated all the roads in Shepherd Lane, different places, and it's very nice what is being completed. And I just wanted to go back to the agenda item on the Citizen Engagement Week and just say that, ever since I was little, and for what it's worth, and my dad was, long before when he was just an insurance agent, a finance major, before he got involved in politics, he would always say, be involved. And that got so drummed into me that since I was 18, I've never missed any election anywhere. I've lived in Kaysville for 34 years. But it's not that hard, and it means a lot. And in some places where even they're threatened for their vote, you get turnout rates of above 90%, even where children have been maimed if their parents would vote, like in Vietnam after the Viet Cong took over. And so I think it's great that Kaysville is above other cities, 45% maybe as far as turnout. But we really should be up around that 90%. It's not that hard. I know everybody's busy, but it's so important. And so I was so glad to see this proclamation.
Thank you. Community development.
Yeah. Hey, just a quick thing over here on the remodel. It's going well. One little snag, they hit water. I guess there's a spring over there. Now we know why the police department, the building, and the old library has so much mold in it, because there's water everywhere over there. But they're fixing that, and it's moving forward. So that's going to be wonderful. It sounds like they're on schedule, so that's a great thing.
Great. City manager's report.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right. I would entertain a motion to move into closed session.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are we staying here?
No, Jake, I think there's two more you have to sign here.